Hello, I'm Robert. I'm just saying again a very short video how to stop yourself completely from getting COVID-19. And these methods work. The experts using these methods, they walk through Wuhan, they come out again without any quarantine, absolutely confident that they're not contacts for the disease. You can totally stop it by doing these things. So first of all, you've got to wash your hands regularly and thoroughly, including between the fingers, the tips of the toes, the wrists, the back of your hand, and everything. Now, the virus does not go through the skin. The virus can be completely destroyed with soapy water. It's just a little bit of genes and protein, and it's easily destroyed. It's not like a microbe. The virus can only get into you through your eyes, nose, and mouth. So if you can also stop yourself from touching your eyes, nose and mouth, then it can't get into your body from your hands. So, and especially if you have delicate hands, delicate skin, then you only need to wash it when you have to. So after you've been to the toilet, obviously, and before, during and after making food. And then if you've been doing something that could have contaminated your hands and then you want to touch your face, then make sure you've washed your hands before you touch your eyes, nose or mouth. You can scratch your ears or your chin or anything. It's the T area that you have to be sure not to let it into. And this virus, COVID-19, it does not come to you on the air. You won't get it by just breathing the air that someone else breathes out. And it is very difficult to get it, which is why China has been so successful in the contact tracing. Only very close contacts or people that you spend a very long time with get it. It seems to require a very high viral load to get into your system. I talk about it this is just a shorter version of my longer one. So you've got to wash your hands, you've got to try and get out of the habit of touching your face, and whatever you do, don't touch your face with unwashed hands. You don't need to wear gloves, you don't need to wear a mask. And keep a distance of 1 or 2 meters from anyone sick, especially if they're coughing or sneezing, and disinfect the surfaces you work with. If you do all this, then you won't get it. You simply won't get it. Dr. Bruce Aylward was an absolute expert. He led the program for eradicating polio, which has almost completely eradicated polio from the world. He's a top expert. He went to Wuhan and he walked all the way around, and here he is at a press conference without any protection after coming back because he followed these simple instructions himself. He didn't go around with full hazmat gear. He just went around like us, he washed his hands every half hour when he was in China. But you don't have to do that if you don't touch your face. So then the other thing is, just to say, this is extremely difficult to get this disease. It's much more difficult to get it than flu. It's much more difficult to get it than SARS even. SARS was airborne and people got it in the same plane flight. You don't get COVID-19 in the same way. And there's almost no asymptomatic spreading either. That is why China's been so successful, and that's why the WHO say over and over and over again in every single press conference I've listened to, every conference they gave on this topic, and they keep saying it can be stopped. And people are just ignoring them, but they are the absolute experts. They are stopping Ebola. They've stopped Ebola again, and they're involved in they stopped smallpox, completely eradicated from the world. The WHO did that. They know what they're talking about. And they find that even with close contacts, then even if you have close contacts, then between 95 and 99% of people don't get it. And it's only because many people have lots and lots of close contacts that it is spreading at all. Because at those numbers, you would have to have 20 close contacts on average for that to lead to being it spreading widely. So presumably most people have about 20 contacts that are close enough to spread it, where they're spending a prolonged amount of time with them, or they're very close contacts another way, so they're going to be coughing with them and sharing sputum with them and stuff like that. And so it's very hard to get, and that is why with these very simple instructions you can stop yourself getting it. And most people get only a mild version of it, so even if you did get it, it's very likely to be 80% get a mild version, even of old people, and very few, and under 10 you're not going to get it. So please don't be scared of this, and this shows how South Korea is containing it. Italy is still on the way up, but it should contain it because it's doing all the right things. And this is China. They have closed 14 hospitals in Wuhan because they're not needed anymore. There's absolute no doubt at all about it. This virus can be stopped. There's a lot of evidence, a lot of experience from China, and they know how to stop it. And the masks they're wearing, that's to protect other people. You don't need to wear a mask to protect yourself. And you can just as well, it's partly because of in Asia they are used to wearing masks, but you can stop yourself by just doing that when you cough or sneeze. Then that will protect others just as well. The mask doesn't protect you. I mean, for instance, their eyes aren't protected. So you can see that it's doing nothing to protect them from the virus. If someone coughed on him, he'd still get the virus, through his eyes at least. It's to protect other people. And so anyway, you can read my articles and so on. I want to keep this one short because so many people are panicking, and they're not. And so many people I still find today, even if I've told them via PM, they forget so quickly. This is what you have to do. Put a label up on your door. This simple graphic from the BBC will help remind you. All you have to do, wash your hands, and use your mouth or cough into a sleeve, or use a tissue for coughs. Immediately bin the tissue. If you're using a tissue, don't carry it around with you. And avoid touching your face. And keep a distance from other people if they are sick. And you simply won't get it. If you have people who are vulnerable, especially elderly, especially over 80, then try and make sure they know this and put a graphic on their doors as they go out if they're people who are rather absent-minded. Make sure everyone knows these instructions. If we all did this, then it would soon be extinct in the wild. If only 3/4 of us did this, then it would soon be over. Because, and that's this, I'll just say this quickly and then I'll stop. So the way it works, this currently doubles, if it's not contained, it doubles every 4 days. So starting with 100 people, 4 days later you'd have 200, 4 days later you have 400, 4 days later you have 800. Now, so 12 days after, you've got 1,500 cases. And they're not doing anything to stop it now in the UK. This means that within 12 days we'll probably have over 1,000 cases. And we're starting with 500 indeed, so it'd be much more than that. It'd be 5 times that. We'll probably have 5,000-6,000 cases in 12 days, because they've stopped containing it. But if you do all this, if you do washing your hands, then if we stop even 3/4 of these infections, so if 3/4 of the UK, so even with our government being very, very lax and weak and not doing the right things at all, I'm going to do a separate video about that, but even so, if 3/4 of the UK were to do very rigorous washing their hands and all the things I just said, like Bruce Aylward did in Wuhan, then the 100 will only infect 50. The 50 would infect 25, and by the end of day 12 you still got less than 187, and it would never reach as far as 200 on average. We've got 500. We could limit it to within 1,000 just by 3/4 of us taking these simple hygiene measures. And they just mention it, and Boris Johnson just said, I wash my hands so I'm okay. He didn't talk about all the details. You've got to get the details right. It's not no use just washing your hands regularly. If you wash your hands, then touch a dirty surface, and touch your eyes, then you can get it. So it doesn't matter how many times you wash your hands, if you touch your eyes with unwashed hands, you still can get it. And if you're not doing the distancing, then or people with coughs and sneezes, so you've got all of those, and then you've got to protect others with a tissue for coughs. So please, please remember to do this. If you're in the UK, especially since we now have no containment of the virus, they're not even testing mild cases, then in the UK, please, all of you, be very careful, because this means that it could get anywhere. And It's no longer the situation that everyone who's got it is quarantined or is in self-isolation. You could go into the shops and there could be someone there who's got COVID-19 and nobody is tracing them or contact tracing them, and nobody is checking to see who is infecting who on that sort of level. So we all, as a community, have to protect ourselves, and the main way you can protect yourself is by doing this. Wash your hands and avoid touching your face. And I'll put this in the description. I will now stop because I want to keep this short. If you need help because you're scared, please join our Doomsday Debunk group on Facebook, and do check the rules at the top of the group so that you know what to do, how to post. We've got very clear rules which help to make the group run smoothly. Do subscribe to this if you want to see more of these videos.